Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and we are just about to do a fabulous Zoom interview with actor A.J. Velasquez from the animated series End Titus. Let's take a look at this fascinating interview, darlings. Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and I have a very special guest today. He is a fabulous actor. His name is A.J. Velasquez. Did I say that correctly?
Velasquez.
Velasquez. Well, darling, welcome to my corner. Welcome to Cognac's Corner. Welcome to my pink kitchen. As you can see behind me, I have a pink kitchen. I always do all my interviews from my pink kitchen. So
I love it.
You'll love it, right? So before we get into the interviews, I want to tell my audience a little bit about you. Okay. AJ, he's an actor. He's known for acting Life in 2019, Fair Market Value in 2019, and Wolves in 2016. You were born in Guatemala and then adopted and moved to the United States. You performed at Carnegie Hall as a singer and a clarinist, and you have a very famous quote, which says, "Never underestimate the power of acting. You can make an entire room of people experience something they will never forget."
Yeah.
Wow. So that's pretty amazing, that quote.
Thank you.
Really, really is. Now, my first question always is, tell my audience what inspired and motivated you to become an actor.
Ooh. Well, it was actually by random chance. I originally wanted to be a veterinarian, and then I kind of flunked out of school, and I had to take an art class, and it was between like 3 hours of ceramics and an hour of acting. So I went with an hour of acting, and I got hooked. It felt right, and it was a challenge, but it was fun.
You said, "This is for me," right? This is
exactly.
for me. So this was quite accidental, how you got into the acting.
Absolutely.
Do you remember what your first acting experience was in the classroom?
Oh, yes. We had to memorize a monologue, and none of my classmates memorized it. I memorized it, of course. And my professor got really mad. He was like, "Okay, I guess we'll sit here for an hour in silence." And I reluctantly was like, "I'll go up on stage." And when I went up, I had everyone standing and applauding. And I was like, okay, this is it.
This is for me.
Exactly.
What was the monologue?
It was from Angels in America, Lewis, when he is sitting with Belize and they're just going back and forth, talking with each other.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I have to tell you, I always wanted to be an actress ever since I was like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years old. My father took me to the movies, and back in those days, they had the movie theaters, because, you know, I'm old, you know, I'm not young. The movie theaters were very glamorous. They had, you know, it looked like like what the Broadway theaters look like. They have marquees and they have balconies, and I'm sitting in the movie theater and I'm seeing these people up on the silver screen, and I'm like, "Oh my God, are those real people?" And my father said, "Yes, honey, those are real people. They're actors." I said, "Daddy, when I grow up, that's what I want to be. I want to be an actor." So that's what really did it for me. And then, you know, of course, I was hooked on television. And in high school, I did a reading. Not really, it wasn't a play, it was a reading with actor John Turturro. You've heard of him, right?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah, he was in my class, John Turturro.
Oh, no way.
He's the same age as me, John Turturro. We did a scene together from Macbeth, and I played Lady Ophelia, And like you, I memorized all the lines. I memorized everything, and including his lines. And he didn't memorize anything. He wrote everything on the palm of his hand. You know, I'm sure he got hell for that later on in life, but because he probably tried it again, I'm sure. But so he was reading my lines, and then I said to myself, what is he doing? He's reading my lines. But as you know, in acting, you never say you're sorry, you just keep going. So that's what we did. We just kept going, and nobody knew what was happening, including my teacher. He thought we did a terrific job. And he went on to be a big actor and director and everything else like that. But of course, I came from an old-fashioned Italian family. So, you know, only Butanas do that. In Spanish, they call them buta, right? Isn't that what they call them, buta? Yeah. So that's what happened to me. So I got married, didn't have any kids, but, you know, enough of me. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. But I love it. I do love it because I'm a Gemini, and Geminis are communicators. So enough of me, because I don't want to go on and on about myself. I have more questions to ask you. Now, can you tell my audience what was your most significant role thus far as an actor?
It would have to be this role I did from a film, What Happened Last Night by Candace Cain. I played basically a freshman Bundy. And it was so significant because it was kind of like the first time I was like in the big leagues with like other actors. Like I worked with Amber Rose, Cody Calafiore. So to be with them and have this be my first film, it was like so mind-blowing.
Were you intimidated by who they were? Were you intimidated by who they were?
Yes, at first I was super intimidated, but just sitting and having like a normal conversation with them, you realize they're normal people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I'll never forget. I was on the red carpet and I was interviewing, I don't know if you know who she is, but she's really quite famous. Her name is Dita Von Teese. Do you know Dita Von Teese?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And when I did my interview with her, you know, she's so beautiful. And I told her, I said, you know, you remind me so much of my mother when my mother was young, because my mother used to dye her hair that jet black color and wear the red lips. You know, she would wear red lipstick. And my mother didn't like to tan, but although she could get very dark in the summertime, because that's why I'm so tan. I'm Sicilian. But I told her that, and then we were inside at the party. It was a party for Cinco de Mayo, and she was promoting the liquor that was being used at the party. So, and she was the star, of course. So we're sitting there talking, and she goes, ooh, she goes, I gotta go pee. So I was laughing because you see what I mean? They're people. They gotta pee. So it was funny. I just thought that was funny. I had to throw that little story in. But you're right. They're just people. I mean, you know, what's the big deal, right? So now, was that your most challenging role? Or did you have another role that you felt was the most challenging?
Let's see. There was another role that I found challenging, but that was because I really had to channel my emotions, and I was still new, and I really kind of didn't go about it the right way. But that was in a musical called Bat Boy I did in college.
Okay, Bad Boy. That was the name of it.
Bat Boy, like Batman.
Boy, yeah. Like bats.
Yes.
Wow. How many professional acting experiences have you had? Do you know?
Not many. I'd say like at least 5.
Okay. So you're on your way. Well, you're quite young. How old are you, darling?
I'm going to be 27.
Oh my God. You could be my son. How cute you are. How cute. So, okay, so that was your most challenging role. Now we're going to get into End Titus. Okay. Now, how did you get cast in the role of Charles? What was that audition process like?
So he sent me he's just sent me a line, and well, a couple of lines, and he just said, "Do what you want with these." And at first, I was going to play the character very, bland, no type of flavor. And then Looney Tunes was on, and Bugs Bunny, of course, was on the screen. And I was listening to Bugs, and I was like, what if I incorporate this in the character? And so I auditioned with that type of voice, and he loved it. And that's how I got the role.
Wow. So how many times did you practice the line before you delivered it to him?
Probably about, because I'm a perfectionist, like 10 to 15 times.
Yeah. And even then, I'm sure when you submitted it, you were like, did I send them the right one? Probably.
Yep.
You said that. Yeah. So you decided to go with that like tough guy voice, like a tough guy, because that's what you sound like on the when I watch End Titus, you sound like a tough guy. You sound like a mafioso kind of, I'm Italian. So is that where you got it from? Did you get it from that as well?
Yes.
Hey.
Yep. There you go.
Do you have a lot of Italian friends?
Well, I grew up, my father is actually, who adopted me, is Sicilian. So I did grow up in an Italian
there you
household.
go.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, your father's Sicilian. Nice.
Thank you.
Amazing. That's amazing. Do you have other siblings besides you?
Just my younger brother in the same situation. He's from
adopted.
Guatemala too. Yeah.
He's adopted. Okay. So you probably got this from your father, the voice too. You incorporated a little bit of that voice from your father, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I had that feeling. Okay. So, give us your interpretation of the synopsis of End Titus. Tell us the story. Tell us the synopsis. Because everybody I've interviewed so far tells me what the story is about, but I want to hear your side, your interpretation of what the story is.
My interpretation is a tough guy who is fighting bad guys, who's used to doing it by himself, and then he comes across a partner, and he's used to keeping this tough guy mold, but he starts to open up while also facing all these challenges. And yeah, it's just, for me, Charles is very tough, but throughout the series, I feel you see he becomes very friendly, very nice, but he also has all these big responsibilities. It's like a very back and forth.
That was going to be my next question, basically, what Charles is really all about. So he wants people to see this tough exterior, but he's really a pussycat. He's really like a pussycat, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I figured. He wants everybody he's big and tough, and he can handle anything. He can handle anything at all. Now you have a good dynamic with Robert, who is played by Solomon Shertok. So do you like the chemistry between the two of you? Do you think it works for End Titus?
Oh yes, it flows so well. Like, it's just very natural.
And it says here, my next question was like, each episode has Charles and Robert fighting demons. What do you think about this dynamic duo? Do you think Charles knew right away that Robert was the right person to help him on his mission to stop Titus from being resurrected?
I think so. I just think in their universe that when they started fighting crime together, something just clicks. They may have not gotten it right away, but they knew something felt good, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because sometimes people, play off of each other. All these, like if you ever watch duos in show business in Hollywood, like, you're kind of young, so you wouldn't know, but like Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis, like they played off of one another. Abbott and Costello, Laurel and Hardy, Batman and Robin, they all play off of one. Each one helps the other, and they play off of each other. So
Right.
did you ever study that? Did you ever look at other people in show business, how they work together, the duos together, the dynamic duo, like
Hmm.
the Batman and Robin type of thing? Did you ever look at that? How those two work together? Did that ever influence you and how you were going to act with your co-actor Solomon as Robert?
Um, I didn't really have like any big references, but there has been individuals in my life that I did look up to, and I saw their chemistry, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool that they have this," and it just flows so naturally.
Like, for instance, give us an example.
I had these two co-stars with me on this musical, Bat Boy, and one was a lead and one was like a love interest, and they never really interacted with each other before, but when they were on stage, it was just magic. They just captivated the audience. It was just, you felt like you were watching like a real love story happen.
Interesting. Um, what's it like being directed by Delmar?
I love it. He's so I like to I like things very direct because I can be a little oblivious sometimes. So whenever something is off, he's like, "Oh, could you do this differently?" Or if he wants something more exciting, he's very clear with everything, which I enjoy.
Right. And he's open-minded too. Like if you think you could do something in a better way or you give him an idea, he'll think about it. He might let you do what you want. He's like that. That's what Solomon told me.
Yeah, majority of the lines that I have sent him were just really just what I felt Charles would be doing, and he's kept a lot of it.
Mhm. Do you have a favorite episode from the first season?
I personally like the most recent episode that was released.
Tell us
Epis-
about that. Tell us about that episode.
I like it because there's a lot of action. Um, it's just so intense. It's like you're at the edge of your seat wanting to know what happens next. And that's,
Wow.
whoa.
It's like a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Now, did you get the scripts for the season right away, or was it one script at a time?
It was one script at a time.
Have you ever done a soap opera?
No, not yet.
This is like a soap opera, really. It's really like a soap opera because the cast never knows what's going to happen. They don't know if they're going to get killed off. Sometimes even if they get killed off, they come back as another character. So it's
Mm,
like a soap opera, very much like I grew up with soap operas. I used to watch all my children.
yes.
You watch that too?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it. I interviewed Susan Lucci, She's
Ooh,
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's really beautiful. Yeah, I interviewed her.
gorgeous.
She was quite a person to be interviewed. Okay, in episode 4, the character of the fixer, which is Steve
Mm.
Ludwig, is introduced to Charles. Does Charles see the fixer as a mentor figure or more of a friend who can create gadgets?
Hmm. I would say a mentor
Why,
because
why, why do you say that? Tell us the reason.
I feel Charles is really all about ego. He likes to act like he knows everything, but the fixer is flat out intelligence, in my opinion, and from my perspective.
Mhm. That's why he calls him the fixer. Isn't
Hmm.
that the reason why?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so now in episode 7, okay, the character of Ranger Monica, that's Demi Davis, who I also interviewed, is introduced and the audience gets to learn from her a little bit about Charles's background. Is there a romance between Charles and Ranger Monica? And do you think they could end up together?
Yes. And of course, I totally see that happening. Just how they interact with each other. It's just,
It's just how they interact, huh? Why are they all lovey-dovey, kind of, or they fight a lot? Sometimes when people fight a lot, that really means that they love each other, you know.
Yeah, they fight a lot. They throw the little digs here and there, you know.
Who gives more digs, her or you? She does, right? Isn't she the
Definitely
one?
her. Yep.
She acts like she's the boss.
Hmm.
Right? You like that? Do you like that?
Yeah,
Do you
I
like
don't mind that.
do you like when girls are the boss?
I
Some
do.
men like that.
Of course.
Do you like it? Yeah?
Yeah.
You're funny.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Now in episode 8, which comes online on June 30th, Charles and Robert confront a character named Mark. Mark is voiced also by Solomon Shurta. Did you know when you saw the episode that Solomon voiced both Robert and Mark? Did you know that?
No, I was caught off guard, but I was so impressed at the same time too.
Well, that's the beauty of animation, that you can
Hmm.
do that. Well, look at, like, you got this whole idea from Bugs Bunny. I remember when I was a kid, I was reading about that cartoon, that it was the same voice. I mean, it was the same person, but he had all these different voices that he did.
Mm.
Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Do you know how many voices he did on that Bugs Bunny thing? I mean, it was Elmer Fudd,
Elmer Fudd. Wasn't he
right?
Yosemite Sam too?
Yeah,
Or Daffy? Quite a
yeah,
few.
quite a few. And but nobody knew that it was all him doing all those voices.
No, they all had their own individual personality. So impressive.
So what do you think about animation? What do you think? You think that's what's coming in the future? You think more movies are going to be made animated?
I think so. I think animation holds a special place in everyone's heart. You know, that's what we grow up with as kids, and I feel like it's evolving.
Yeah. Besides End Titus, do you have another favorite animated series that you like?
Ooh, that I'm working on?
Or yeah, maybe that you're working on?
Yes, there's another series. It's Warlocks of Wrath High by Gabriel Jones. We're just starting out, but it's such a cute little franchise. It's about magic animals and they go on adventures. It's so adorable. You have to check it out.
What's the name of it again?
Warlocks of Wrath High.
WRATH and then high, HIG, like high school?
Yes.
Okay, okay, so it's like that kind of a thing. Interesting. How did you get that role?
Kind of similar to how I got End Titus. Someone just sent me lines and they were like, do what you want with it. And I read them and I thought of a character voice and I did it, submitted it. And it was actually people voted on who they liked the most. And mine's got the most likes and I ended up getting cast.
Fascinating. Okay, now, other than Charles, do you have any favorite characters from the first season?
I like the Fixer.
You like the Fixer?
Yes.
Okay, let me just get rid of this. I don't know what the hell this is. I keep getting the 10 minutes. I only have like 10 more minutes to do this interview. All right, so now, there's going to be a second season of End Titus. The last episode of season one will come online in September. What would you like to see happen in season 2?
Definitely a little more romance.
More romance between
Yeah.
you and Demi Davis, the character that's played by Roger. What's her name again? Tell my audience.
Demi Davis. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now.
Monica Ranger.
Yes,
what's her name? Monica Ranger. Okay. So also, Charles and Robert are trying to stop Titus and Jasmine. Catherine Black, who's the actress, is trying to stop Titus. Charles and Robert have met Jasmine yet. How do you think they will react when meeting Jasmine? Do you think they will get along? Or do you think Jasmine not trust him and want to work alone?
That's a good question. I think they would get along, but it wouldn't happen right away. I feel Jasmine and maybe Charles would go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah,
But
there's like a process between the two of them. There's definitely some kind of a process. Now, there's one more episode. Tell my audience for this, when does that episode, you'll be in that last episode for season 1. Tell my audience,
yes.
when is the last date?
What do you mean, the last date?
Well, the last time we could see season 1. Isn't it the end of this month?
Yes, June 30th, I believe.
Okay, so that's the last time we could see it. Okay, fascinating. So now let me ask you, as an actor, tell my audience where we could go to find out more info about you as an actor. Do you have a website?
Ooh, I have the social medias. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at theajvelasquez.com. At theajvelasquez.
I can't wait. Can't wait for the end of the month to see the last episode. And I want to thank you very much for doing this fabulous interview with me. And if I wish I was there to give you a big pink champagne kiss, but I'm going to blow it to you.
I am Titus, and right now I am dead. But when my soldiers finally awaken me, I will gain all power and become the ruler of this world.
Well, not if we have anything to say about it. You guys ready to get this show on the road?
I don't know. I mean, are we really ready for this fight?
We have to be ready! The fate of the world may very well rest in our hands!
Well, if you put it that way, then let's get to it.
I will win this battle, Carlavon.
You may win a battle, Titus, but you will definitely lose the war.
Well, I hope you enjoyed my interview with fabulous actor, Mr. A.J. Velasquez. It's all about the animated series End Titus. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and always press the notification button to let you know when I am publishing a new video. I always publish a video around Sunday or Monday, and my channel is all about Zoom celebrity interviews, fabulous events in the Hamptons, and shopping hauls at Amazon, Rainbow, Shein, and Fashion Nova. And I love you all, darlings, and don't forget to subscribe. And pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs dazzling dazzling diamond jewelry, a girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh, I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.